And in the season finale, everybody is concerned about where Owen is. Hannah and Terrence certainly don't know where he is, and they decide to go to the American consulate. Lester and Violet also don't know where he is, but they have to do damage control, get in the room, and get any sign of the fact that Owen Hendricks from the CIA was in there. They have to make it look like a clean room, and they have to do it ASAP because the cops are coming. A little while later, Lester, Violet, Nyland, Amelia, Dawn, and the director of the CIA hop on a Zoom call to discuss this mess. They fill the director in on what the plan was, why they think it went wrong, and where Owen Hendricks might be. They figure that he might have ran so they can get to a secure location, and then they'll reach out and contact. They're not jumping to conclusions that Owen Hendricks was the one that killed Xander. In fact, Lester points out that he's pretty sure Owen and Max were clear of the location when Xander was killed. The director gives Dawn 24 hours to get in touch with Max and Owen and get this operation back on track. If it's not, he's pulling the plug. He then puts Lester Kitchens on operations as well. Lester has a background in this, and while Nyland isn't happy about it, and Violet certainly isn't happy about it, Lester has no choice. It's the director of the CIA. He then dismisses everybody in the Zoom except Lester and Dawn and says, if it comes down to it, burn the current players before you lose this opportunity altogether. That means getting rid of Owen, getting rid of Max. But the big question is, where are Owen and Max? Well, they're on a bus headed to Germany. Owen is not exactly happy about what took place in Geneva. He feels like Max had a hand in the death of Xander Goy. He starts blaming her, but she reminds him, I did what I had to do to survive because you couldn't get me the money. And I didn't get him killed. His dick got him killed. Owen then stupidly turns on his phone and he's got a bunch of missed calls from Lester, Violet, even Hannah. But Max grabs the phone, chucks it out of the window and says, your phone is a tracking device. No phones or radio silent. Although after a few hours, Max does want to get in touch with Dawn. So they end up stealing a phone on the bus. Max heads to the back of the bus. She calls up Dawn. She makes sure that it's safe to come back to Germany, and Dawn assures her, yep, it's safe. We're waiting for you. Owen then borrows the phone and calls up Giannis. That little book that he took from Max's security box, he feels like he can use it in this Giannis fiasco. Owen doesn't exactly know what he has in his possession, but he knows it's Russian intelligence of some kind, and he knows that Giannis can find some way to use it. So he takes pictures of them, saves them in his Instagram drafts. Giannis gets access to it, and Giannis gets a great idea. He's going to stage a mission where his special operations forces just happen to find these documents, and these documents just happen to lead to the rockets. Problem solved. Right after calling Giannis, Owen and Max hop in a car and head to the location of the black site. On the drive over, Max gives Owen some dirt on Dawn that Owen does not want because Max lets him know this information could get you killed. He's not really interested in that, but they're stuck in a car together. It's not like he can ignore it. And the information is juicy. Dawn is stealing money from the U.S. government. Every time the U.S. government has an asset, they have to pay that asset. It's up to the case officers to let the government know about their assets. Well, Dawn is setting up fake ones, people that don't even exist. The U.S. government sends her money that she's supposed to give to these fake assets, but she just pockets it, and that is very illegal. If this were to get out, Dawn's dream job of being the station chief in Moscow wouldn't just be out the window, she would be in jail. Max says to Owen, as long as Dawn plays nice, we keep her secret. Owen's got another issue, though. His friends are getting him in trouble, not intentionally. Hannah and Terrence did head to the consulate, and they were interrogated by Violet. CIA found it really interesting that Owen's friends just happened to show up. They don't believe the fact that they just showed up. They were worried about him, and they didn't know anything. They're convinced that they did know something. But considering Hannah's parents are big lobbyists, she's not really all that concerned about it. There's nothing Violet can do to keep them, so they have to let them go. On the way back to their hotel, Hannah called up her mother, asking her to call in some favors and make sure Owen was okay. That favor was to Kevin Mills. So after giving Hannah's mother as little information as possible to put Hannah's mind at ease, Mills headed over to meet with Nyland and asked, why the hell am I getting calls from lobbyists about Owen Hendricks? What kind of leaky ship are you running here? Nyland takes offense to it. He feels like this definitely isn't his fault, but he does fill Not Bob in on the operation and what happened. Not Bob's reaction, though, completely changes when he finds out that Xander Goy was the case officer who was killed. He stands up and tells Nyland, you need to keep this away from me. And Nyland says there's no reason to think that it would get anywhere near you unless there's something you're not telling me. To which Kevin reminds Nyland not telling each other stuff is literally in our job description. My contact with Hendricks was incidental. It doesn't ever need to be mentioned. Are we clear? And a very suspicious Nyland just says, "Yep, we're clear." Hannah is relieved to get the news that Owen's okay, but her mother is demanding that she fly back to the States, move out of that apartment, and sever ties with Owen for good. She feels like Owen is a bad apple. After all, Owen is every mother's nightmare. A college-educated from Georgetown lawyer who works for the CIA. On the phone, Hannah says okay, but when it comes time to leave, she decides not to. She lets Terrence go home. What it comes down to is she's not happy, and she realized that if she just follows what her mother wants her to do, she's never going to be happy. Terrence supports her decision, but does say, "You got to figure out what's going on with you and Owen." He then heads home, and Hannah stays in Europe. Back in Germany, though, Owen and Max arrive, and they're greeted by Dawn, who ties them up. She needs to make sure that they weren't compromised first. They separate both Max and Owen, with Dawn interrogating Max. Max tells Dawn that Xander was killed for having an affair with another guy's wife, but she was the one who gave his name up. She doesn't care that Dawn knows this, because what she also knows is that Dawn wants that station chief job in Moscow. In order to get it, she needs this mission to go off without a hitch, which means she's not going to jeopardize giving Max up for Xander Goy's death. Right now, she needs Max. And as much as it pains Dawn, Dawn knows it. Dawn then goes and unties Owen and tells him that they're about to get on a call with the director at Langley and recommend that the operation continue. A couple minutes later, they're on that call. It's the CIA director, Dawn, Owen, Nyland, Amelia, Lester, and Violet. They tell the director that Goy wasn't killed because of their operation. He was just sleeping with the wrong guy's wife. And Lester confirms it. He pulled security camera footage and he found the killer. It was a woman named Nishka Lashin, and it's the same woman that approached Owen at the bar. Intel has her pegged as a Russian mob enforcer. With this new intel, the CIA director gives the okay to head to Prague and continue with the mission, buying Max's way into the Russian mob. With the meeting adjourned, Nyland has Owen stay on the phone. He wants to talk to him about this unwelcome visit he got from Kevin that day. While he didn't know about it before hearing about this, he knows who did it. He fesses up that it must have been Hannah's mother. Amelia, who happens to be in the room with Nyland, confirms that she went over to the house and woke up the roommate. Nyland is pissed and reminds them that they really need to keep their mouths shut, but for the time being, there's nothing really he can do about it. Owen then has to get ready to go to Prague with Dawn's team. They've got it all mapped out. Dave, Dawn, and the mercenaries are going to be in the bushes overseeing everything. They have an eye in the sky thanks to a drone, and they're going to be watching Max the whole time. Owen, well, his job is to stay in the van. The group gets set up, they all leave, and it's just Owen and Max in the truck together. Before Max leaves, she kisses Owen. She doesn't know if this will be the last time she sees him or not. A nervous Max then gets ready to go meet with Lev. At first, the meeting's going great, but then things go south. Owen hops out of the truck to pee when he sees some unwelcome guests driving in. He has no idea who these people are. Normally, the eye in the sky drone would see it, but it lost communication. Owen tries to get in touch with Dawn, but Dawn doesn't want to hear it. She thinks he's just wasting their time. She learns pretty quickly, though, that it's not a waste of time, because this group gets out of the truck and starts firing on the location where Lev and Max are having their meeting. When Lev hears bullets, he feels like Max betrayed him, even though she didn't. So while people are shooting on the outside, Max is shooting a lot of Lev's guys on the inside, or else she's going to get shot herself. It's a complete shit show. Owen, having no real clue on what he should be doing in this situation, just starts making his way towards the building while trying not to get shot. That's when he sees a very familiar face. One of the mercenaries is the woman from the bar. He stupidly waves at her, and then she reloads her gun and tries to shoot him, but she misses. Owen is able to take out one of the mercenaries and grab his gun and head inside, and he shows up at a great time, because Max is cornered with two guys with guns, and she doesn't have a lot of ammo left. The bad news for Max is Owen is panicking. He's never shot anybody in his life, and he knows he has to pull the trigger. Now Max, who has no idea Owen is even there, she gets up to shoot one of the guys, but she gets shot herself. That's when Owen shoots the other guy, killing him. The guy that Max tried to shoot, well, she missed, and he goes after Owen, choking him. He would have killed Owen had Max not shot him in the head. Max then very calmly goes after Lev, who is bleeding out. She tells Lev, "I did not betray you, but you're never going to believe that. So I have to do this." And she shoots him. The whole time, Owen was begging her not to. Owen and Max rush out of the building, get in a car, and Owen is having a full-blown panic attack. As they're escaping, Max asks what was happening, who was shooting at us. And Owen says, Nishka. To which Max is really confused on how Owen even knows who she is. And Owen tells Max, I met her in Geneva. She was outside the hotel that Xander Goy got killed at. Max reveals to Owen that she was the one who pushed the council to get her killed. Owen, though, can't concentrate. This panic attack is taking over, and he has to lay down. Once he gets his bearings together, he yells at Max to stop the car, but Max says no, and it results in Owen jumping out of a moving vehicle. This sparks a pretty big fight between the two. Owen doesn't like the fact that he killed somebody. He can't shake it. Max, who has done this many times, thinks it's normal and he'll just get over it. And he thinks that's psychotic. He yells at Max, I quit. I'm through with you. I'm through with the agency. And he starts to walk away. And Max pulls a gun on him, saying, stop. When Owen turns around, he chuckles, saying, I was so stupid. I actually thought I could save you. I thought there was a human being under there. But no, it's just a stone-cold killer. That's all it is. I mean, I actually thought that if I helped you, you could change. But you can't change. Max, who at this point is crying, admits to Owen, I need you to get back home. Please. But Owen shakes his head and says, I can't. If I don't get out now, I'll be lost forever. And you? No one can save you. He walks away, and Max can't bring herself to pull the trigger. She gets in the car, calls up Dawn, and says, we have a problem. It's the lawyer. I can track him thanks to the watch that I gave him. And Dawn says, good, because I can track you thanks to the phone you gave me. We'll meet up. As soon as she gets off the phone, a car does pull up, but it's not Dawn. It's somebody else who takes Max. As Max is making the phone call to Dawn, Owen was making a phone call to Hannah. It just so happens that Hannah is in Prague. She got a text from an unknown number saying that Owen was going to be there, so that's where she headed. They have plans to meet up, but when Owen goes there, he gets taken by somebody in a car. Hannah watches it all go down. When Owen finally comes to, he's surprised because he's tied up, and so is Max. He starts asking Max, where are we? Who took us? But she doesn't have the answers to that. Then she shockingly does get the answers when Nishka walks in. Although her actual name isn't Nishka. Her actual name is Carolina, Max's daughter, who raises her gun and shoots her mother dead. She then gets really close to Owen and asks, who are you? And what were you doing running around with my mother? And that is how Season 1 of The Recruit ends. Thank you so much for getting this point of the recap. I appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. Be nice in the comments section. I hate nasty comments. They make me feel bad. I have merch if you want a shirt or a hat or a mug or a tote bag or whatever. Consider sharing it on your social media platforms. That would help me out. But just truly know I appreciate you watching.